very little to do. All that he does, apart from 1 or 2 years where he's the automatic chairman, I think, of the Armed Forces Council and automatic chairman of the Police Council, everything he does is the president that assigns him that job. In fact, he's an automatic successor to a president who is not around, who falls down dead, who resigns, etc., etc. But he's important in the sense that we are in a multi-tribal society, in a multi-religious society. So at all times, once there is such a position, you look at balancing things. I must say right from the outset that the NPP seems to be more interested in hitting on religion and ethnicity much more than the NDC when it comes to such choices, which unfortunately does not really benefit them. Because if you look at the Constitution says that if a president resigns, the vice president steps in. If he falls down dead, the vice president. In other words, the Constitution has created a certain way by which a president can be succeeded. President Rawlings set the tone very well in 2000. He supported his vice president. Unfortunately, President Kufuor didn't do that. Even though the person who was his vice president, in my opinion, was fit to become president of Ghana.
Why do you think that he didn't support his vice president?
I'm sorry, I have to ask you to ask him.
No, but you're an insider.
Oh, no.
At least you think that he's capable.
That's an interesting question. You see, in today's graphic, there's an article by Dr. Arthur Kennedy in which he rubbished the moral qualifications that we demand from our candidates. You understand? And one of the things that he said we should look at is, for example, we should ask the candidates about who his teachers are, and then ask the teachers the opinion of him, his classmates, his subordinates, his boss. In this particular instance, I know that President Kufuor did not support Nana Akufo-Addo. So that is a judgment of Nana Akufo-Addo by his own boss. Neither did he support his own vice president. When you see him, you are friends with President Kufuor. Ask him why he supported someone else. I haven't seen
him for a long time.
ask him why he supported someone else and not any of these two.
Couldn't it be that the selection of the vice presidential candidate at that time was not about succession, but about other factors, say ethnicity and religion?
I was in the NPP, so I can tell you a few things. There are people in the NPP who think that the top prize must belong to people from only certain parts of the country. So whenever they give, whenever that position, the vice presidential slot becomes vacant, they are not looking for a successor, as you seem to be suggesting in your question. They are looking for someone just to satisfy other people, that we are also part of it. You understand? But when it comes to the real thing, they are not looking, because without doubt, even Nana Akufo-Addo's choice of Bawumia was, in my opinion, a disaster. Because I could not see how Bawumia could have succeeded Akufo-Addo. They won't vote for him.
But he was said to be a fine gentleman.
Being a fine gentleman is not politics. You
need what then is politics?
You need a politician. I was telling a group of people that, you see, I'm not too comfortable with this perception that you need a technocrat. I think that after the choice of President Mills in 1996, we have grown. We have MPs. We have ministers, ex-ministers. We have ex-regional ministers. We have even ex-DCEs. You see, politics is the business of politicians. Just like you are a journalist, so you understand very well what I'm saying. I'm a lawyer, of course. I've dabbled in journalism a little bit. But a lawyer will not necessarily make a good journalist, simply because he can write or speak. Journalism is for journalists. Politics is for politicians. I would have wished that he picked a politician, because being a politician, an effective one, you require a certain experience. A technocrat like Bawumia, in my opinion, does not have that experience. I'll give you another example. Look at Italy. They decided to hitch their luck on an accomplished businessman like Berlusconi. Have you seen the sorry pass that this man has brought them to? It is in the same vein that I look at your own friend, Dr. Kwesi, with a lot of interest. He
What
has succeeded.
Kind of interest?
He has succeeded as a businessman. Therefore, he thinks he must be president. The two things are not related at all. They are not related at all. Politics is for politicians.
Now, President Mills apparently, hurriedly, announced the nomination of His Excellency John Mahama as his running mate. Why was he in a hurry to endorse his vice president as his running mate for the next election?
Mr. Pratt, with all respect, would you want me to ask you a question? Who did you expect him to choose?
No, I wasn't expecting him to choose anybody. The question is, why did he have to announce Mr. John Mahama in an apparent hurry?
Have you seen the apparent difficulty that Nana Akufo-Addo is having? He was selected as a candidate for the NPP as far back as last year, August. He has not selected his running mate. Now everybody is saying that I'm fit to be a running mate. If he had done so not too long after he had been selected, all this wouldn't have happened. Professor Mills has shown that he's a politician who knows the terrain. He already has somebody with whom he won the election. Why does he have to wait? He announces that this man, I'm continuing with him. So that struggle stops. And they can concentrate on governing the nation and then planning strategies for the next election.
Now the debate is on in the New Patriotic Party, and it appears that Nana is going to select Bawumia, or so his close associates say. What are your thoughts on that?
Let him select him first.
Why?
Let him select him first, because if he decides that if he has decided right now that he will select Kwesi Pratt, he may change his mind this evening.
After what you say.
Yes, it is his right to do so. So let him select Dr. Bawumia first. And then we shall have a discussion on that point. Yeah.
So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I'd like us to look at all the political parties. CPP, PNC, and then we will do NDC and NPP as well. And then some of the dominant parties as well. So short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Mr. Kakra Essamuah.